What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Sean O'Malley reveals shocking news. Back in 2018, Sean O'Malley was forced out of his scheduled UFC 229 fight with Jose Quinones after a failed drug test for a PED known as Ostarine. O'Malley was hit with a 6-month suspension as officials concluded that a contamination was the likely cause, despite none of the supplements O'Malley was taking testing positive at the time. According to Sugar Sean, the latest findings suggest that Ostarine can be transferred through sweat. As O'Malley went on to reveal in a video for his YouTube channel, much like he theorized at the time of his suspension, Ostarine reportedly can be transferred through sweat.
Just recently, studies came out, scientists, athletes, it happened on someone's like knee brace or knee band. Someone was sharing knee band. They tested for Ostarine and they tested the knee band, but it came back that Ostarine and those kind of tainted supplements can be through sweat exchange. It f***ed with me for so long. So when Jeff Nowitzki texted me the other day, he said, yo, check this out. I didn't want to look at my phone. I saw his name pop up. I had a f***ing heart attack. I looked at it. He sent me the article. He said, look at this.
Despite the latest findings, Conor McGregor was unfazed. In response, he shared a laughing emoji, which caught the attention of O'Malley, who then, in turn, took aim at McGregor, writing, "Missed the old Conor. Sad face. You fell off, bud. Still a fan, though. I actually don't care you're 1-4 in your last 5. I'm still as excited to watch. Hope the toe is feeling better." He then followed it up with another post, writing, "Conor isn't in anyone's GOAT talk. Entertainment, yes, but skills, no. Has a really good left hand. Ish cardio, weak jits, decently athletic, mentally weak, drug addict, needs rehab, 1-4 last fights. Still fan though. Hope toe heals up." UFC Senior VP of Athlete Health and Performance, Jeff Nowitzki, then took to social media, backing up O'Malley's claims, writing, "Ostarine can come from anywhere, even sweat. One of the easiest substances to detect. Lights up like a Christmas tree on lab analysis. Stays in system for a long time. This is why thresholds are so important in anti-doping. Trace amounts mean nothing." In addition to O'Malley's case, Ryan Garcia was recently flagged for allegedly using Ostarine. Despite maintaining his innocence, Garcia was handed a year-long suspension after his B sample tested positive for Ostarine as well. Given the latest findings, it'll be interesting to see if the boxer attempts to appeal the suspension. Next up, let's take a look at UFC reveals another rule change. On Tuesday, the ABC formally agreed to remove the rule against 12-6 elbows in MMA, meaning fighters can now legally use the elbow technique that landed Jon Jones his one and only career loss back in 2009. In addition, the ABC also agreed to change the definition of a grounded fighter, making it so that now, fighters who attempt to touch the canvas as defense against knees in the clinch will no longer be able to do so. Instead, fighters are declared grounded when any part of their body other than their hands or feet is in contact with the canvas. For example, a fighter reaching down to touch the canvas can now be hit with a knee to the head. However, a fighter with a knee on the canvas cannot. According to Ariel Helwani, who posted a photo of the latest changes to the unified rules of MMA, the changes are set to go into effect on November 1st of this year, giving judges, referees, and ringside physicians time to be properly trained. As Ariel Helwani revealed, the ABC's decision to allow 12-6 elbows is good news for Jon Jones. As he wrote, "Worth noting, Jon Jones can appeal his 2009 loss to Matt Hamill to get it overturned into a no contest, not a win. But it might be too late since that was almost 15 years ago." The MMA community was quick to react to the news, with one writing, "Since the MMA commissions are now adapting the rules by eliminating the 12-6 elbow and changing the grounded opponent rule, it's now time for them to address extreme weight cutting. The weight cutting issue in MMA is even more of an important issue than these rule changes." Another joked about Jones, posting a meme along with a caption that read, "Jon Jones showing up to the commission to appeal his loss." One member of the MMA community argued Jones's case for the loss being overturned, writing, "Should officially change Jon Jones's DQ loss to a no contest or a win, cause that was the weakest rule in MMA. I get the rule was there in effect when it happened, but still, if you acknowledge it was a bad rule, null and void, just saying." In response, Jones took to Instagram, writing, "Undefeated then, undefeated now. Dana White, we gotta get that loss out of the history books." Next up, let's take a look at Paddy Pimblett sends a warning to Bobby Green. Ahead of their UFC 304 clash in Manchester this weekend, Paddy Pimblett is eager to take King Green's spot on the UFC lightweight rankings. Leading up to the fight, Green sits as a slight betting favorite on FanDuel with -122 odds, while Pimblett has -104 odds. However, with hometown support, Pimblett's confidence is at an all-time high. In a recent video for his YouTube channel, the baddie weighed in on the fight, sending a warning shot at Green while predicting an early finish.
You know, everyone's talking about this fight like it's a striker versus grappler match. You know what I mean? It's not. I'm an all-round MMA fighter, and to be honest, I think Bobby is. He's got very good grappling defense, but I'm gonna shut a lot of you haters up with this performance. I'm in the best shape of my life, not much weight to lose. I just can't wait to come out and put this egomaniac in his place. When I put hands on him, he's gonna know about it. He thinks I'm just gonna come out and be shooting for my life. I'm gonna come out and take his head off his shoulders. So I'm predicting a first or second round knockout or submission.
As Pimblett went on to explain, a submission could also present itself if he's able to rock Green, who has now been stopped in all 3 of his most recent losses. Prior to that, Green hadn't been finished by strikes since UFC 199, where he was KO'd by Dustin Poirier. Since the start of 2022, however, all 3 of Green's losses have come by KO or TKO, leaving some fans worried about his chin. Now, let's take a look at Khabib reveals bad news. After reports previously revealed that Khabib Nurmagomedov owed the Russian government several $millions in unpaid taxes, MASH is now reporting that back on July 5th, a case was opened against Nurmagomedov by the Federal Tax Service. This would allow the government to begin the process of seizing the Eagles' assets to recoup the money that they are owed. According to the report, the Russian government is planning to seize and then sell various assets owned by Nurmagomedov, including a car collection and a house in Dagestan. Among the assets listed were a Ferrari California T, valued at $300,000, a pair of Mercedes-Benzes worth nearly $200,000 combined, a BMW 7 Series valued at just over $100,000, and a pair of Toyotas valued at nearly $130,000. In addition, the former lightweight champ is also unable to leave the country until things play out. For his part, earlier this month, when reports suggested that his bank accounts had been seized, Nurmagomedov released a statement denying any sort of tax debt. So far, there's been no word from the former champ following the latest update. Next, let's take a look at Belal Muhammad makes bold claim ahead of UFC 304. With UFC 304 just days away, Belal Muhammad believes that a win over Leon Edwards would put him in elite company. Speaking in an interview with MMA Fighting's Damon Martin, Muhammad revealed that with a win on Saturday, the only welterweight with a better resume than him would be George St. Pierre.
My goal isn't just to be the champion. My goal is to be the best welterweight to ever do it. So for me to go out there and beat Leon, who beat Usman twice, who everybody thought was the best welterweight to do it, right? Then I'm up there and I'm ahead of him, and I'm right underneath GSP. Then when you're looking at both of our lineups, it's like I beat Wonderboy, I beat this guy, I beat that guy. Then I get these next young killers who people are still gonna say are gonna beat me, right? You give me the Shavkats, you give me the JDMs, the Ian Garys, and then I walk through all of them. There's nothing else, right? I'm just gonna be cemented as the best to ever do it.
The MMA community was quick to react, with Will Harris writing, "If Belal wins Saturday, wins on his resume will be Leon, Burns, Maia, Brady, Thompson, Luque. That's impressive. He would need to add Shavkat, Gary, or Usman to that list." One fan wrote, "No disrespect, but it wouldn't even put you above Matt Hughes." Another wrote, "Man, he makes it impossible to root at all for him." One member of the MMA community joked, "Wonder if crack will show up on his next drug test." Another joked, writing, "Belal Muhammad is comically, flagrantly, cartoonishly wrong. People who believe the moon is made of cheese are less wrong than Belal is." One fan pointed out the flaw in Muhammad's logic, writing, "Weird how some people think that by beating someone that has achieved great things, you inherit those things. Same happened with Topuria." Another wrote, "Yeah, sure, Belal thinks he's next in line after GSP. Newsflash, that fight didn't exactly go his way, and Leon Edwards is still a top contender. You can't just claim you're the best without backing it up with some serious wins, kid." Some fans were harsher than others, with one writing, "LMFAO, you're literally dog-ish. No one likes you, and your fights blow. Dana White gave you this title shot so you can literally shut the F up. We all can't wait until you retire." With just days to go until fight night, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. Next, let's take a look at Francis Ngannou reveals next fight. Despite being knocked out by Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou still has his sights set on returning to MMA before the end of the year. During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Ngannou spoke about a wide range of topics, from the tragic passing of his son to his MMA return. As the Predator explained, nothing is finalized yet. However, there's been talk of him and Renan Ferreira competing in October.
It's working pretty good. We have a good relationship. I have some fight. I will be fighting by the end of the year. And then...
Do you know who you're fighting?
I think Renan Ferreira is the guy.
That's the guy that knocked out Ryan Bader.
Yeah.
He's dangerous.
He's dangerous.
He's legit. And you think that fight will be in Saudi Arabia as well?
Yeah, that's what the PFA.
Interesting.
is working on.
Do you know when that'll take place?
October?
October.
Sometime, yeah.
Ooh.
They're working on October.
All right.
It's not finalized yet, but they was talking about October 19.
Pereira recently defeated Ryan Bader back in February in a clash of champions at the PFL vs Bellator card, earning himself a fight with Ngannou. In March, Ngannou was then finished in the second round by Anthony Joshua, raising questions about when he would make his return to MMA. Then, in May, Ngannou's son Khabib passed away, with many of the mindset that the tragedy would, understandably, likely delay Ngannou's return to action. While nothing's been finalized, it sounds as though the MMA community will have a chance to see Ngannou and Pereira throw down under the PFL banner sooner rather than later. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at Ronda Rousey teases return to the UFC. Leading up to UFC 300, rumors suggested that Ronda Rousey could potentially return to the octagon for one final fight. Despite the rumors picking up steam and fans theorizing about potential opponents, Dana White squashed any talk of a potential return, saying that Rousey wasn't going to be fighting at the historic event. Now, in an interview with Sports Illustrated, Rousey revealed that although her sights are set on having more kids, if she could return to the octagon, she would. In the interview, she was quoted as saying, "If I could, I definitely would. If I want to have a whole basketball team full of kids, I can't take any more detours. I've always wanted to be a mom with a lot of kids." As Rousey went on to explain, she appreciates when fans ask her about competing again, saying that maybe the fans still miss her after nearly an entire decade away from the sport. As of December 30th, it'll be 8 years since the former champ last competed at UFC 207. And given that she wants a quote-unquote basketball team of kids, it sounds as though a return is unlikely to happen. Paddy Pimblett reveals sad news. During a recent interview, Paddy opened up about his struggle with mental health through this fight camp and even said his coach threatened to pull him out of the fight. Here's what Paddy had to say.
About 5 or 6 weeks ago, my coach was thinking about pulling me out, you know what I mean? Where mentally I weren't there, and I said a couple of weeks ago, I think this is going to be the worst fight camp of my life, and up until like 2 or 3 weeks ago it was. I've got that attitude, lad, and that positivity where I can turn it around, and you know how confident I am. So when my coach thought about pulling me out, I was like, no chance, you know what I mean? Then you've got to stay confident, lad, you've got to stay positive, you know what I mean? Whenever I start feeling negative and get a bit down, that's when I hit a bit of depression, and mentally, that side of things, it's hard, you know what I mean? As I say, I wasn't in the best place like 5 weeks ago, something like that. I actually messaged James's place, the place where I go to have a little bit of counselling. I actually messaged Jane, the woman who I go and see, and was like, can I come and see you? You know what I mean? Just to have a little chat and feel better.
That's pretty remarkable that you're happy to share this sort of thing with us.
I need to share this, lad, because other people don't. And I'm probably going to mention it again in the cage after a win, lad, because the amount I'm hearing it again lately. Like 2 years ago when I mentioned it, yeah, this, like, people always say to me, oh, it's amazing what you're doing, that, lad. I'm just doing my part, lad. I think anyone in my position who's got a couple of followers, who's got a bit of a platform, they should be doing this.
Curtis Blaydes sends a warning to Alex Pereira after Alex teased a move up to heavyweight. Here's what Blaydes had to say to Pereira.
Pereira's inevitable move to the heavyweight division as
Bad
well.
idea.
Bad idea for him.
Him, I'll give you my premeditated plan. Gonna shoot immediately. Why would I give him any chance to knock me out on the feet when I know I can take him down at will?
So would you welcome
in
Alex Pereira to the heavyweight division if you win on Saturday night?
I know this is what everyone wants to hear. Yes, I would up Alex Pereira. It's not because he's not good. I'm heavier than he.
Top comments. Conor hasn't planned on coming back for years. If you watch Ariel for your MMA news, you also probably sit down and pee. I ain't gonna lie, Harrison said she never had a positive test and never used during competition. LOL. People still watch Ariel Helwani? The MMA Hour isn't necessarily a bad show, but it's definitely not a good one.